Hi, welcome to Tailgate Update. We have the usual array of suspects: Julie Miller, Ryan Besaw, and myself.
And
All
Lulu.
right. But anyway, this week we've got a little bit of baseball and a whole lot of football. It was an amazingly busy week. A little bit with the college, but the pros, just some incredible stories going on. But we are going to start with some off-season baseball news, and Ryan, I believe, has got something to throw to us.
Yeah, I do, Jay. Just get started out west. Dodgers trying to keep the team together. NLCS MVP Tommy Edman signs a 5-year extension worth $74 million. They don't stop there, though. They go out and get an ace pitcher in Blake Snell from San Francisco, sign him to a 5-year, $182 million contract. So Dodgers still trying to keep that window open. And two-time World Series champion Brandon Crawford retiring after 14 seasons in the bigs. 4-time Gold Glove winner and a 3-time All-Star. Wasn't, Hall of Fame worthy, but he was really known for his defensive play when he was in San Francisco all those years. So,
You think that'll affect San Francisco, or will they bring in somebody just as good?
with Snell opting out and then going to LA.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really help San Francisco to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really the only ace they had, and the pitching staff in general just kind of folded. So it's going to take a lot more than replacing Snell to help that pitching staff.
Okay. Let's see. We'll roll on over to a little bit of the NHL news. The season's kind of getting going, pretty good right now. So, Ryan, what were your thoughts on what's going on right now?
You're not going to believe this. Ovi is skating in a rehab of his broken leg. He's already skating.
How many weeks ago was that he was hurt?
Oh, 2. He skated by himself before practice on Monday.
I'm not dignifying that with a response.
That is insane.
39 years old. He broke his fibula on November 18th, and he's already skating. He skated in a tracksuit with a helmet and stick in hand, but no hockey gear.
Wow.
Doing a light workout.
Wow.
Dumb.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my word.
The NHL fined Oilers forward Jeff Skinner $200,000 for embellishment during a recent game against the Rangers.
That's going to break the bank.
Yeah.
It'll be hard for him to deal with.
Issued a warning after diving embellishment in this incident on October 22nd against the Hurricanes, and this is a second citation, so they gave him a fine. Austin Matthews has returned to the Leafs after 9 games.
Okay.
He was missing after an upper body injury, but he's back now. I believe he was last year's goal scorer, so Toronto gets their guy back.
Okay.
Yay.
That's really all that's going on in the NHL right now.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of starting up the season over there. I guess we can.
It's only like a month into the season, so
Yeah. I guess on the basketball front, nothing much happening on the college basketball so far. I mean, there's really conference play won't start for another month. Nothing really important is happening. The usual suspects are towards the top. In the Maui Classic, I got to see Hurley put his head in his hands after his team that was 2-time national champions went and lost all 3 games of the Maui Classic. So that was pretty insane, coming in at number 2 in the country and losing all 3 games.
So UConn has dropped to number 25 in the AP men's basketball poll. Now, you said they were number 1 last week, right?
Yeah, well, they were number 1 in one poll and number 2 in the other.
Okay, well, they dropped
a
large margin.
Yeah, they lost 3 games in like a week.
Did they really? Yeah, because they slid 23 spots, I think they said.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah.
If you don't slow down and smell the roses, life will pass you by.
Yeah. But anyway, nothing much happening with that. But the NBA is moving into the it's getting a little bit interesting. They played enough games. Some teams are near a couple dozen games. They have the Emirates Cup, which is the mid-season tournament that gets them extra, you know, a little bit of extra juice. I mean, I think their main concern is, I mean, it's a little bit extra juice, a little bit more TV coverage. They have the fancy courts; they're a little bit different, and that's
Sure.
It
about
looked
it.
really lame from what I saw.
That's what
The
I thought
extra
too.
the courts. I know. I just don't see what the fancy uniforms and the extra courts for. I
Even
can
the
say that they,
coaches look bored. I want to throw that in
yeah,
there. The coaches look like, what am I doing here?
yeah. I think one of the things is too that with TNT and everything, they make a lot of money from overseas money from TNT.
Mm.
Um, so all the big mid season tournament games are carried on TNT. So that's a huge extra boost for them. I mean, in the US, you can pay $10 for your local thing. If you're watching overseas, it runs you like 25 or $30 extra a month to watch NBA games.
I
And
believe
so
it. They nickel and
that
dime sports fans everywhere they can.
they do. And
Literally.
so the few they're watching it are paying 25 or $30 extra. They want to have like a couple extra days of coverage on it. And
Mm.
but yeah, that's about it. No huge injuries, no huge fines as far as I know what are going on with the
Uh,
NBA right now.
James
Uh,
Harden has joined Steph Curry as only NBA players to reach 3,000 career three-pointers.
yeah, it's James Harden. Everybody's kind of got an opinion on it, but I mean,
James Harden, though, short opinion, he gets away with travel every time. So, like,
yeah,
most of his three shouldn't even count.
yeah, I know. I mean, I love when they talk about the five tool players in basketball sometimes, but I mean, literally all the common fan cares about is just like he's making a lot of points. Let somebody else guard, you know?
I
All
Let
I
him
mean,
care
shoot on
about is
defense.
calling their fouls consistently.
Yeah, that's true too.
Violations, fouls, call them consistently. Come on. It's your
okay,
job.
but we know what even with the NFL that don't happen.
Well,
Every referee crew is going to call a game differently, and if another crew was at that same game, they would have called it differently. Like,
Yeah.
there's not the continuity, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Some are like super lax, like play it out, and then others are like, oh my God, you looked wrong at someone. Like, now we have a penalty. So, like, yeah, that
Yeah,
just
I,
seems
I
par for the
agree with
course.
you. My thoughts about the NBA reffing is just that 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I kind of felt like the referees were always leaning a certain way, that the stars were all getting the calls in, but the stars are getting so much older that they can't even justify a close. I mean, you can see that LeBron lurched against someone that you can't give him the block, and I mean the charge instead of a block. I feel like in the last 5 or 10 years, it's went more where the NFL feels a little more planned or
Hmm.
predictable with the end of game calls favoring one team or the other.
If anything,
mhm.
sports have shown us recently that time takes its toll on everyone and has waits for no one. And even if you're a big wig or a huge athlete or extremely good at what you do, like time still gets you. I don't watch any college football, um, but even I caught this, so I know that our fans will be more than aware of what happened. Um, first, so here is just one of the y'all see the clip?
Mm.
I see
Okay.
it.
And I have no sound, so we are good to go. And this is one of the flag planting brawls. I think Jay, you said one of three, right? Or three
Yeah,
flag
one of.
plantings.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
And at least two brawls I know of, but
Mhm.
three flag plantings.
yes, and this is the one that I heard about. Probably because it's Michigan and Ohio State, pretty big teams,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
certainly not the only one, but definitely significant.
Good catch.
Yep, we got the Popo in there. I haven't seen them in there for a minute.
Yeah, I
Trying
read
to.
there's pepper spray used on players to stop this from continuing.
I can believe that because as you can see, they're not getting very far. The separate.
It's a huge rivalry though, so I can understand this, but at the same time, it's like grow the hell up.
Oh
It's a
my
flag.
god. You love to see it. Sorry, you don't love to see it. No, not at all. This is awful. Ooh, ooh, helmet's flying. Woo! Trying to get him off the field before there's a casualty. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, so that was just a quick clip of some Michigan brawling going on. Um, you know when the police are out there that it's, it's rough. I will watch any and all brawls willingly and enjoy them thoroughly. But definitely
Oh my god.
some
Yeah, it was Georgia Tech and Georgia. It was 44-42 final, 8 overtimes.
yeah, it took yep.
That's some
I
honky tonk bullshit.
I watched three over of the overtimes and I mean I got so irritated I didn't even stick around for the eighth one because I'm like this can't be life. So yep, but other people even in the bar we were in were like super engrossed in it, so whatever. Happy for them. Um yeah, I think those are two of the biggest stories in college football. Ryan, you got anything else?
Unranked Syracuse beat number 6 Miami this week in a huge upset. It was some honky tonk bullshit, but um, it's gonna have huge playoff implications.
Right.
That's all I really
I
got for
think
that one.
the whole thing really brings up what they talked about at the beginning of the year with doing 12 teams, the kind of like nightmare scenario
Mhm.
where with Oklahoma and Texas being added to the SEC, that
Right? Yeah.
all the good teams can still beat the very good teams when they play them at home. You
Mhm.
know, it's tough to go into a very good SEC home stadium and win, you know, even if you're
Oh
a
yeah.
top five team. So they've got the plight of trying to figure out a way to justify. I mean, believe me, they figure out who's going to get in and then they'll find out ways to justify on the broadcast who
Yeah.
they're putting in because they don't want a 12 team tournament with three SEC teams. They've got to figure out a way to get either Ole Miss or Alabama in.
Not just that, they're gonna probably try to put somebody in there that's gonna garner viewership
Right, exactly.
The fact that they
because
can
Because
even choose who gets put in just is like as stupid
it's
as eight
insane.
overtimes.
It's
yeah,
insane.
but the thing about it is they're probably going to kick out a two-loss a Big 12 or a two-loss ACC team and
More than likely,
put in the three-loss SEC team is what they're
the
going to do.
the one that's gonna piss off everybody is Alabama.
There's
If
no
they are
reason
to
they
get
should
in,
be in.
they've lost to three unranked teams,
Right.
and a black eye on the college football playoff if they get in with 3 losses.
And the thing about it is if another SEC team gets in, it should be Ole Miss because Ole Miss has
Yeah.
had close losses. Okay. Ole Miss had the good fortune they didn't play Tennessee this year.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
But Tennessee played Oklahoma and they kicked them down the road, and Ole Miss played Oklahoma and they beat them. And Alabama got absolutely drilled by Oklahoma, you know?
Right.
So if you're talking comparisons, and no other team in that 15 to 16, 17 range that they're
Mhm.
trying to look at put in number 12 has that kind of a butt kicking like Oklahoma did to Alabama. You know,
Right. Yeah.
it was just crazy. Um, the only other thing happening was like you talked about the parity, um, is the fact that the NIL isn't really as powerful as you would think because Ohio State had literally the highest, you know, they had the highest amount of money coming in, and also, you know, Oklahoma, and they weren't that great either. So the portal's overrated.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
And
Um.
next week or two, we can complain about who won the Heisman Trophy, which
yeah,
I don't
it's
have.
very
Yeah.
clear to me they need to modern up a little bit or something with what they're doing over there, because it seems like they're now encountering with NIL, and they're encountering modern problems and they have a stupid system, so they need to figure out how to make it more relatable to the everyday
Yes.
person and make it like more interesting.
Yeah.
So the football playoff picture right now is looking like Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame at 5, they hopped 1. Miami's at 6, they hopped 2. Georgia 7, they went up 3. Tennessee at 8, they 3. SMU went up 4, and then Indiana went down 5 after the loss last week.
Does it ever feel disheartening when you try to figure out who's going to be in the playoffs and you realize that they could just flip that on its head
Yeah.
for, yeah, that would
And
be really discouraging.
tomorrow the new one comes out, and I'm guaranteeing Miami's not going to be in it. I think what the hell was it I was looking at? Oh, Ohio State's not going to be 2 after their loss to unranked Michigan. They're
They'll
likely
probably be 7
dropping
or 8. Yeah.
more than likely.
Oh,
Then we
I
got
heard
Boise.
rumor that every single person who was involved in the brawl is going to get suspended. And that was significantly after the brawl, so that'll be
Mhm.
interesting to see how that impacts both teams. I have
Yeah,
no idea how that would work
yeah.
because
Right now
everybody was there.
we're looking at Boise at 11, and we got Clemson at 5 at 12. They jumped 5 last week,
Yeah.
so Clemson might
Um,
be making a run for it.
yeah.
Um,
One other thing about the Big Ten is I just wanted to say a Big Ten championship game without Ohio State or Michigan in it. Think
mm,
about that.
who's in it?
It's going to be Oregon and I'm believing Penn State. Yeah, Penn State won last week. So,
That's gonna get viewership.
I mean, they only lost to Ohio State. So, you know,
Yeah.
but
Um, College football pisses me off. So
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be interested once it gets bowl season. I'll be more
yeah,
interested.
I have a lot of
So,
empathy for fans that they have to watch that, and also that the lack of security and actual talent being the reason why you end up in the playoffs. I mean, you can argue that the NFL has referees that are, you know, what they are, but at
mhm,
least it feels like we have more control over, who actually makes it based on talent in theory. So,
yeah.
in theory, yes.
Let's see. I think we've berated college football enough for today, so we'll maybe move
mm.
over to the pros.
We were gonna do big news first, and
Big news
Ryan
we'll
is
do.
actually gonna kick that off for us.
The Bears fired Matt Eberflus after 6 games losing streak this year, and they quoted that as saying going in a different direction.
Yeah, the
Uh,
one that's not in the loser, not losing
going in a
direction.
different direction of somebody that knows how to use timeouts.
The fact
Um,
I said at the time that at least he's confident about being incompetent because I think, so many of us struggle with imposter syndrome and all that. And Eberflus is just like, I'm wrong and I'm going to be loud about it. And, I have some respect for that because that takes a certain level of tenacity. Um,
he stood on it. He stood on it after the game.
yeah,
Oh,
and
I
so
stand by the
now
decision. Idiot.
backed it up. And to me, that's when I felt like his coffin was going
Yeah.
in the ground because not only did you make the decision, but then you backed it up. Instead of saying, my God, that was a huge mistake, that might have saved him if he had done that. I don't know if it would have, but it certainly didn't help. And so, yeah, the writing was on the wall.
He overstayed his welcome in Chicago. I don't think he was ever the right hire. I'm sure
It was a weird hire at first, like
it was.
and
Yep.
everybody and we've all been trying to practice how to say his name for like the last however long, or spell it, that's on sobriety tests all across the country, and
That's unfair. That is unfair.
absolutely it is, and
Spell it backwards.
So does it? I mean, does it rhyme with fever blouse?
yes.
Okay. I mean,
Tom,
that's how I always did it.
Oh my
Thomas
God.
Brown's taken over as a head coach. Another coach from the McVay tree is going to be a head coach in the NFL.
And
So
he
that's
was an
pretty cool.
interim head coach before, right? Because they were talking about Stigler or something.
I think he was in Carolina. He was an interim head coach, I believe.
Yeah,
I
so
want to say Carolina, but I'm not sure.
I think that's kind of amusing. It's sort of like the traveler, the traveling quarterback where they move
Hmm.
around and everything. It's like the interim head coach.
Yeah.
It's a new breed.
Um, Eberflus coached Chicago to a 14-32 record over 3 years. It wasn't even a full 3 years, but he's 5-19 in one score games in his career. That's worst among qualified head coaches. Third worst win percentage with a 304 behind John Fox at 292 and Abe Gibron at 274.
Oh boy, and everybody had something to say about poor Abe.
Sure. This dude fired 8 coaches during his tenure, 8 assistants, coordinators, all that good shit. Fired 8 of them,
Yeah.
and didn't
Oh, and
think they had a problem. He
oh,
was
I was
he was trying to get the right match, man.
I was also reading something on Twitter about him having in a one score games a 5-17 record, which was the lowest of any coach on record. I mean, to
Wow.
lose over 75% of your
Uh
close
huh.
games is
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
I
hard to be
mean,
that bad. I'm
that's
proud
just
of you.
terrible. That's terrible.
Horrible. Absolutely. Um, but now maybe Caleb Williams has a chance at showing that he's not a bust because it seems like everybody is a bust in Matt Eberflus's world. So,
Since Thomas Brown took over calling plays for him, he's taken off a little bit. I still think he's not who he's expected to be, but that's just my opinion. But Thomas Brown's going to continue calling plays as he takes over as head coach for the last 5 or 6 games of the season.
good.
So, yep,
So
man, that was a real cluster on Thursday, wasn't it? That end of the Detroit game was just we'll get to that at some point here, but
Yeah.
we got more news. James Conner has been signed to a 2-year extension with Arizona worth $19 million. The workhorse of the Arizona offense is going to continue pounding the rock. Yay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Get
Good
your
for him.
money. Get your
yeah,
money.
Good for him. Kansas City was the first to clinch a playoff spot after the Black Friday win. I'm just going to say it. They're the softest 11-win team I've seen in years.
Mm.
Super soft. They're Charmin soft. In that win, Mahomes passes Len Dawson for all-time touchdown record in Kansas City history. And one last bit of news. Buffalo Bills clinched
yeah.
the AFC East last night with a snowball victory over the 49ers.
God, that was hard to
I
watch.
I loved every minute of it except for the injuries for CMC. That was
Yeah. I appreciated
So
the winter vibe, because
it was
as
nice.
yeah, and then
s-
I forget what his name is, but the man that they always call on, the ref, the expert that the sportscasters call, he's like
Territor?
yeah, he's like my favorite is snow games because people don't cheat because you can't cheat when you're just trying to stay upright.
Yeah, when you can't stay on your own 2 feet. Yeah,
Oh my God, that was funny. I was like, that is a hot
it was a
take
good
for
game.
yeah.
I was
Enjoyed
going to
it.
say now that Buffalo's quarterback is going to be married to a big, a singer slash actress. Do we quit rooting for the Bills? Are they on the
No,
hateful list
Why
now?
do I care?
no, man. Josh Allen's
I
still
mean,
Josh
we
Allen.
care. Yeah, I know, but still.
Haley's not that bad.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
she was in True Grit, which to me is like gives you, lifetime cred with the rural crowd.
Right? Yeah.
So if you can, I mean, she's no Kim Darby, but she was excellent in it. Kim Darby was in the
I know.
original, the real True Grit with the Duke. Okay,
I watched it. I
okay,
know.
okay. Now Jeff Bridges, I would never disparage, but I mean, there's only one Duke, and
I've
Kim
watched both of
Darby.
them.
Yeah, okay, both hold
I,
up.
yeah, they're good. They're good movies.
Yeah,
But she's not that bad, so Josh can stay on the good list.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just
Plus,
asking, just
plus
curious.
he's a real blue collar quarterback. I don't
He
think anybody's gonna
seems
ever date him.
likable. I mean, I
Yeah,
watched the interviews. He seems really likable. Yeah.
He
yeah.
reminds me
So,
of he just very like hometown generic,
yeah.
very generic, except for being as tall as he is. He looks like pretty much everybody. his
Yeah,
brother, cousin, somebody. Yeah.
He relates to a lot of the fans of Buffalo.
yeah. That's-
Thank you. Uh,
So anyway, Julie, I think we're done with like the news and updates and everything. You're going to hit some injury stuff.
Yep, and
Oh
we
goodness.
just talked about CMC. There was some discussion about like they thought, we might have more details by today. He did have an MRI. We don't have more details. Currently, Dr. Suter, who I always shout out every week, said he thought it was probably like a PCL tear. And he's like, well, that's not great, but it's better than something with the ACL again. And said like depending if the team wasn't so bad and they had made it into the playoffs, he might have even been able to rejoin the team because the recovery time is not horrible. So they acted like that was worst case scenario, and I'm like, that's pretty good out of all the things it could have been because he was a ticket time bomb in my head. He's gonna go down sometime. So
When he
like
went down, I thought it was an Achilles thing again. I was like, oh, here
exactly.
we
So a
go.
PCL sounds like pretty chill to me, but they made it sound like that was rough, and I'm like, no, that would be a good thing. Um,
Well,
but he probably won't be back for the season because they're not gonna have much more of the season. Um,
now
he's
did
on
they
I
say they
what?
put him on IR again, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, okay.
He's now there with their other lead running back, Jordan Mason. So that's great for them. Um,
Down to their third string running back. That's good
yeah.
news for San Francisco.
He's on the IR with a sprained ankle, which seems kind of dramatic. I don't even know. But he
Depends on the
down.
sprain. If it's a grade 2, then it's a big old problem.
Right. I don't think they'd put him on IR unless they
Yeah,
absolutely had to.
right, right.
So, that's the worst ankle sprain of your life. And we'll now talk about the biggest hits because it seems like this week and last week even, sometimes the NFL forgets, the players forget what era of football they're in. And we are not in the 70s anymore, and I forgot that for a bit because it sure felt like it with this hit. I've seen it, but
Oh,
only in clips.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
uh, let me mute
when they go
this.
into rigor mortis, it's a bad hit.
Yeah, I've just seen the still photos. I haven't seen the clip yet.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me if this doesn't feel a bit what happened when you were a kid and watched ball. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you need to put a Raiders helmet on that guy, you
Ooh!
know?
Oh! And then they fight
Yeah,
because they gotta back up their man, which
yeah,
I'm not even mad about. Okay,
yeah.
let's see it
No,
again. Let's see it again.
I mean, first of all, even if he hadn't given himself up, that's just crown to crown on the helmet, you know?
Exactly. I
Forget
mean,
about whether he's trying to give himself up. He's not even trying to break.
yeah. I would say that that would be kind of a weak hit for the 70s, but still, maybe the 80s. It still has that vibe. I think in the 70s they would have gone faster and harder, but it's still that energy that we're seeing here. And he's fencing a little bit with his arm. He got kicked in the head by a teammate, and
Uh,
then
it,
they got to deal with
yeah.
they bring
yeah.
him down. And I love that because it's like they had their man, like they're like he's doing some fencing here with the right
Oh,
arm.
oh my God. Yeah, that's nasty
It's okay
looking.
though. It's okay though. He apologized.
Well, he apologized with his face right here because that they getting all the,
No, he
he got roughed
apologizes.
up real good in here.
He
Wow.
apologized to Trevor. It's okay though.
Yeah, I mean, brain
But
Never mind
damage
I
that.
is
mean,
not permanent, so it's
Never
but
mind
I
that he
mean,
was trying to fight the whole team and the fans. So I mean,
yeah. But I mean, the thing about it is, I don't think I've seen a hit that hard when the quarterback was giving themselves up. So
not in
in the
like 30
70s,
years.
70s, 80s, you wouldn't see the quarterback giving themselves up because they would go, they put their shoulder into it so they wouldn't get hit like that. But that was crazy that
I
he
feel
just
like
seemed
I
to
have seen a
accelerate.
hit like this in like the greatest hits, like at some point,
Yeah,
but
maybe. Yeah.
not frequently. But when I did, it was harder, faster, more emphasis. Um, and at that point, they would have given him some smelling salts, tried to put his arm back into the right position after
Yeah.
it's fencing weird, and
Yeah.
then say, "All right, back at it." But we live
But
in a different era, apparently.
it
So
was weird to see the clip where the um the medical staff is having to avoid a brawl to get to a player.
yeah,
I
and
don't think
then
I've seen that before.
somebody accidentally kicking him in the head, his own teammate, like
After he
um
took the hit in the head? Yeah,
yeah.
I've never seen
Not
that.
only did he take the hit, you can't really see it from that angle. He took the hit directly, but he also bounced off the ground like a pogo stick with his
Oh, so the
brain.
back, and
So
then
he
the
got
kick from the
every
teammate.
side, and then he got kicked in the head with, yeah. So, don't forget what era we're in. Okay.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
God, I
let's
didn't realize
see
we are in the
here.
Hall of Fame segment right now. But I
Yeah,
thought
I
we were
got
just gonna.
some more here. Bateman from the
Ravens.
Ravens.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, can't talk.
There you go.
Knee injury. Um,
Oh no.
oh, Jamal Adams is back with the Lions, so that's nice.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
signed to the practice squad.
yeah, yep. So Aziz Al Shair, that was the man who forgot it wasn't the 80s.
Tried that.
Um,
And Trevor Lawrence.
obviously was out with the concussion. Thank God we didn't have a stretcher with this one, right?
What one?
With Trevor Lawrence, like
No, he was carted off. He was in a golf
yeah.
cart.
Which is good because the last couple of weeks we've had ambulance runs and stretchers, so this has been
Well, they were pretty much holding him in the cart. Like there's somebody
yeah.
in the back, like holding him, make sure he doesn't fall out.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow I feel like he's
That's a
couldn't
problem.
yeah, he probably would have. Um Los Angeles Chargers, Lad McConkey, who I believe is one of their leading wide receivers at the moment.
He is their leading wide receiver, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, he's out
Ladidi
with a knee.
McConkey.
Yeah. Uh most of us didn't even know that he
He got
existed.
hurt.
Yeah. And he had a knee. And I think
Oh no.
last week he was questionable with a shoulder or something like that.
Um,
Taysom Hill is probably once again on had a season ending injury. I think he's off the field more than he's on.
tore his
Um
ACL.
yeah. Oh,
And he had
I
a
th
tore his ACL and it has additional damage to his knee.
okay, because I had said the knee injury. I didn't know about the
Yeah,
ACL.
yeah, he got his knee sandwiched between Jared Verse and Kobe Durant last night.
First takes us to church every week. Um
Taking
okay,
souls
then
out there now.
Sauce Gardner had the hamstring against Seattle, and it scared the out of me when DK Metcalf like was sort of limping off the field, looked really dramatic, and then like a play or two later he's like back out there, and I'm like, that is the fastest toradol shot I've ever seen. Um, don't know, but he scared all of us, okay?
I
Um,
hear.
yeah. Uh Let me see here. Dallas Goedert, of the Eagles, the knee. Um, yeah. Okay. And if you watch that game, the Jets and Seattle, you got to see Michael Dixon getting like 50,000 back massages and doing yoga on the sidelines because something happened with his back. Um, yeah, so that was kind of entertaining, really, because it was. I mean, I really like Michael Dixon, but it was kind of funny to watch people like doing like the massages and him doing stretches. It was rough because Myers was gonna have to do his job, but yeah,
Dixon's the punter, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, it was kind of confusing, like what was going on, because like it was weird that they were all of a sudden all the masseuses were coming out and he's doing all this yoga. It's unclear what was going on, but it was clear it was bad. Um, Baker Mayfield said he got cleated in the Achilles, and Noah Brown, the man who caught the ball, in that fateful Commanders game, it was ruled out with a rib injury. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much what I got for injuries.
It's
Um,
not like Washington needed him yesterday.
Yeah, and obviously we have some of our more pre-existing, continuing, but nothing.
Yeah.
For
Uh,
example, Bosa is still out, and that's a big deal. But I
yeah.
mean that happened.
Trent
So,
Trent Williams was out last night with an ankle.
uh, yeah.
So
Um, I didn't catch all of them, okay? I just caught most of
No,
them.
you're fine.
I was
Yeah.
just to say it was a ton of injuries for even for a late season week. It seemed like an
Okay.
awful lot.
Like, what is
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on out here? And then we have fights. And I know, because that hit has, it was heard around the nation, okay? Because I've heard it on so many different shows and stuff. Like, that was very impactful to the audience. So,
Yeah.
um, I guess they don't like 80s football after all.
Yeah.
Um,
So what are we into? Are we going to do the play-by-play now?
yeah, let's get into it. Let's
Week
Okay.
13 review.
go. Yeah. Bears Lions. We talked about that because that's what got Eberflus fired.
That was the icing on the cake for the firing of Mike Matt Eberflus. I'm
Yes.
like, it's Matt. Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well, it
there's a
doesn't matter.
thousand
He's
mics, so
unemployed.
yeah,
He's
Matt
unemployed.
Mike.
So who cares?
Yeah, it was seemed it was late at night for me, but it was a I've never seen a clip viewed so many times on Twitter, on X,
Yeah.
because
It,
everyone was sharing it in just disbelief.
Right.
yeah, because it's disbelief on like two parts. Eberflus for not calling timeout and backing up his young quarterback, and
Hmm.
also if you're the number one overall pick, you should know like, oh shit, I should probably call a play that gets us out of bounds if coach isn't calling a timeout.
Hmm.
You know, and Eberflus should be in his headset saying, "We're not calling timeout. Get the play off."
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
It,
it's obvious to us, and all I'm gonna say is that he's a rookie, and timing is different in college football. I know it's been a season, but I mean it's not close enough at all to call him a bust. He just got in here.
well, I didn't say
Uh,
he was a bust. I'm just
no,
saying.
I know. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I've heard that from other people. Let's not go there, but like I do think that it showed a lack of aptitude from him, like because it was obvious what you should do.
Mm-hmm,
But he needs a coach who can help him get there. And to
Yeah.
have a coach who co-signs the stupid
mm-hmm.
is not what anyone needs, especially a rookie. Good Lord.
Yeah.
It was like putting Jared Goff with Jeff Fisher, never working.
Yeah, it's like Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett.
Literally.
Oh
What
God.
are you laughing at, Jay?
I'm laughing at this. The Titans being totally irrelevant, and we're going to have two Titans coaches catching strays today.
Well, I think Jeff Fisher was allergic to winning after he left Tennessee.
Yeah. He was allergic to anything other than like 8-8 when he was at
7
Tennessee.
and 9s,
Too many wins. No.
July
Uh
9th, Jeff Fisher Day.
Yeah. Jeff Fisher has he had the phobia about being fear of double-digit wins.
Oh,
that's a real thing. You find it in the DSM-5. Uh,
Yes.
the Giants and the Cowboys, I actually planned my turkey dinner around the game that I thought would be the least exciting.
it was actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, which is annoying to me, but 2027, so another one game, one possession difference,
One score game, yeah.
one
It was a
score
good game.
game. There's a million ways I could say it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that says a lot about a lot of things.
But I
Um
never saw the jokes online about the fact that it was Thanksgiving, but the Giants had cutlets, you know.
that's
I saw
good.
none of those jokes.
Because he didn't play.
He didn't
Yeah.
play. Who
No,
did they play?
Drew Lock played.
Is he their third string?
Yeah. No, he's a second string now.
Yeah, I guess he's the
Oh,
He moved up. He's moving on up like the Jeffersons.
yeah.
and I
Okay.
would never
Yeah.
wish Drew Lock on anybody because I he was so painful to watch for the majority of the season, then somehow got some inspiration last whatever hellscape of a
He's
season it was.
not that bad.
And then he
Wow.
actually was, dare I say, good at the end of the season. And but I remember the very worst of times and the best of
Mm.
times, and the worst of times was longer. And so he's an emotional trauma I wouldn't wish on anyone. So when I
Well,
was in Boston, I saw in Little Italy they had Your Mama's Cutlets, a restaurant, and it made me laugh because it reminded me of Cutlets.
Oh
Okay,
no.
Dolphins and Packers, not
I
a one score game.
I did not watch that game. I just saw the final score and That's
Yeah,
all I need to know.
I was in a turkey coma for some of it. I caught the end of it.
A
And
turkey
by then
coma.
it was already too
Yeah?
late. I mean, it was a big difference, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, the Dolphins looked rough. I mean, they have a player who still has probably a brain bleed actively happening, so I never really have really high hopes for their team, but I did hear a little bit of shade towards their head coach being responsible for some of the things that are happening. I don't know that I've heard that before, too much of a narrative, so I was like,
McDaniel?
yeah, yep. I heard some McDaniel shade, and I was like,
He seems
that's
shady to me.
Let's move off of this game before
yeah.
it gets son of Sam.
What's the first game on Sunday we were talking about?
No, we have Black Friday because money.
Oh God,
Um,
do we have
the
to talk about
Chiefs and
this
the
stupid
Raiders,
game?
Uh,
and
Okay,
this was
Chiefs
a
and Raiders.
2 point game, and we all cried when the Raiders didn't clinch it.
Yeah, because some more tantrumery went on. Where was the game? Kansas City. Was it not?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the
Antonio
offenses were so
Pierce was
for.
kind of like you could tell he was just
Oh
done.
yeah, he's pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not because of his team. I would be done with that team too, but like he just was like clearly like, okay, I can't fight the ref ball. It's just too great of a force.
Well, on the play the end of the game, one
Yeah.
official comes onto the field, signaling false start. Then all of a sudden, the call becomes illegal shift,
Mm-hmm.
which is a decline penalty, which kids
Mm-hmm.
can't see the ball. Huh? How convenient. I thought the
Look, they
referees were
slipped
supposed
him
to wear
some
black
bills.
stripes, not red.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Let me stuff your pocket a little bit more for the end of the game, eh?" So,
Some
s-
honky tonk bullshit going on. Yeah,
somebody
I'm
said that
sick of
they're
it.
the weakest team with the record that they had that they've ever seen, and I felt that that was fair.
Me, I
You
did.
said that. Yeah,
I
okay, well,
said that
see,
like 20 minutes ago.
yeah, you're in my head of greats,
I
so you're
am.
welcome. I
Right.
collect everything like a steel trap, but I don't always remember where I got it from. So,
They are
yes.
the softest 11-win team since the Steelers of 2020.
And that feels so, that just rings so true to me. Like they are, that's the closest we'll get to college football deciding who's in the playoffs. Um, the
Referees?
Texans and the Jaguars, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
23 to 20, another one score game. We had a lot of those, frankly. Um,
There was a lot of boring games on Sunday.
very, very much so, but this is not one of them because this
No.
is where the biggest hit happened of
Yeah.
like 2024.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. And
that's
they could
true.
have actually taken it, so that was kind of unfortunate because I wanted to see the Jaguars like win something, but that's just me. Um, Colts Patriots. Everybody was very excited by that clinching at the end, and I was like, the fact that you got that close is depressing, and nobody should be that happy. But what do I know?
Okay.
Chargers Falcons also a one possession. I mean a one score game. So was the Colts and Patriots. If I didn't mention that, it was 25-24. Chargers were 17-13. Nobody is
Oh,
singing the
God.
praises of Kirk Cousins anymore.
No,
I
I've heard
saw
rumors
him.
about maybe they're wanting to
Yeah.
throw uh, Penix in for a couple of games.
Really?
Why not
Why?
try it? You know, they're
Uh,
almost out of it.
they're 6-6, tied for the division lead. Kirk,
Yeah.
I saw him put a football on a carrier pigeon and try to throw it to the out route and got picked off for a pick six yesterday. That is just old. You're old, dude. That was like a year 16 Eli Manning pass. Just toss it over there, hope it doesn't get picked off.
I Is it him or because with Russell Wilson, I now question when an old quarterback moves to a new team, that isn't great. And we know the Falcons are terrible and their draft choice was awful, so we shouldn't be expecting that much anyway. Um, I
Yeah,
now have
true.
questions because we can see how Russell Wilson looks like in a good setup. Um, does
Uh,
that actually mean that Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins or anyone else in their situation is washed, or the team just sucks, and if they went to another one, they would look better? I have a hard time fully condemning them at this point because of what we've seen
well,
with.
Kirk is showing his age.
Yeah, father time, man. We were
Just by
talking about
watching him
that.
throw the ball.
Yeah.
Also, Atlanta was duped into hiring a head coach that is unqualified to be a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we were all t saying they did the very worst in the draft
Yes,
of all the teams. So, like, what can we
yes.
really expect from, like, Kirk can't come in and
This
save it.
this is
Yeah.
all. It's a shit show from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
And
mean, the main reason we didn't like the draft pick was because it was a quarterback when you just paid big money to a quarterback.
yeah,
yeah,
you literally just signed Kirk.
But we were talking
Ideal.
about that it, it looks smart if Kirk really turns out to be washed, that you covered
And
your bases.
it looks even worse if Penix doesn't pan out in 2 years.
Well, that's
yeah, and
true
they have
too.
bigger needs that they could have addressed that may
They
have
needed
helped Kirk.
they needed a pass
Yeah.
rusher. They needed a tackle. They
S-
needed a
s-
receiver. They
Speaking of quarterbacks that are maybe never pan out, are we up to the Titans game yet?
No, because we
you
have the
just
Okay.
Seahawks and the Jets first.
you're just dying to Barry Levis, aren't you?
Okay.
Yeah, I went into this game like it's hard for some part of me feels bad for Aaron Rodgers despite the fact that he resembles a cult leader. Like I still felt
Wow.
kind of bad, because he really, really tried and it just always backfires and they got close. It was a one score game and I don't know, I just feel bad every time because they had that enthusiasm coming off the bye week and everything like that and then
He led the offense to 14 points.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Go
I
ahead and continue.
Yeah, obviously I'm a Seahawks fan. This put us in good position in a division, but a division that's so awful that it's still embarrassing to be at the top of it. Um,
It
and the
it
this
doesn't matter. It
The
doesn't
West
the
matter. I
and
mean,
the
take
West
your
and the
win,
South. Just take it.
yeah,
You're in first
take
place.
your
Enjoy it.
win. Yeah, take the
no,
win.
no, and the dysfunction was so bad it felt like my family holidays with people who have substance abuse problems as a kid, and I was just like, why are we dysfunctional on every front? Like it felt like there was no end to the problems, the abysmal play that was coming. But it definitely kept me interested because it was so dysfunctional. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, I
That was
couldn't look
a
away because
great that was a great
uh
breakdown.
I wanted to watch Russell Wilson like play with because why did they make me have to watch both at the same time? But frankly, it was a more interesting game because of how bad it was. So,
Yeah.
okay, Jay, lay into them Titans, lay it in.
I mean, uh, literally, they could have beaten the Titans by 70. You know, they were up 28 to nothing. They were up 28 to nothing after a
Yeah,
quarter and 5 minutes.
sure
So,
were.
they're killing them. And whenever Will Levis plays a bottom five defense, he looks awesome. But he's like the guy that, you know, has been in the league 10 years in the NBA and he can hit 15 or 20 straight three-pointers. But you put him in the game and he can't get open.
Mm,
It's the same thing with Will Levis. It's like if they try any sort of stunts, if they do anything deceptive on defense, if they have a really strong rush, if anything goes wrong, uh, he doesn't react well to it.
Yeah, he's got to have
So
everything perfect.
exactly. I mean, if it's perfect, he's perfect. But that's
Yep.
not the way the NFL works. Maybe 2 weeks out of a year, maybe three if you're lucky. But mostly it's going to be like games like this where you're down 14 to nothing. What are you going to do? How are you going to come back? Three and out? Okay, let's do that. 21 to nothing, 28 to nothing.
Right.
And we'll have a top 10 pick as the Titans. And I'm still reading the crazy notion of like, Will Levis would be good if we put like another good offensive lineman. You drafted offensive line top 10 the last 2 years. You're the only stupid team in the league that thinks that a medium quarterback can become great with the better offensive line. You know, get
Yes and
somebody
Yeah,
in
no.
Jay.
free agency and draft a Hoss, draft the third or fifth best quarterback, whatever it is, when you're drafting 10th or 12th, and wait a year or two for him to become good, because you've had two years of Will Levis and he's done nothing but I mean, he's made more rookie mistakes his second year than he did his first year.
Have you guys had a good quarterback in like the last 15 years?
No,
Yeah.
I mean we had
Steve McNair was your last one.
Steve
we
McNair is the last good
we
quarterback.
we literally had 2 good years of Tannehill. Okay,
Right.
That's-
till
I wouldn't even call that
people
good.
people discovered, hey, you know what? That guy's getting wide open receivers because the guy he's handing off to is going to be in the Hall of Fame in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what they discovered about Tannehill. He's like, I'm going to hand off to this guy, and when they quit covering the receivers, I can get 250 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Tanny had two good. He lasted 11 years with the Miami, and it's not like they traded him for a 9th-round draft pick. I mean, they let him go.
Yeah.
11 years with the same team, and he gets let go.
He also
should
tore
tell
his
you.
ACL twice, so
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we are pretty much at the end here. I do appreciate the commentary, but we're just going to finish off the scores. Steelers spanked the Bengals. The Cardinals lost in a tragic ending with the Vikings. The Rams won against the Saints, but frankly, everyone lost, especially the fans who had to watch it. Buccaneers and Panthers, 26-23. That shocked us all because Bryce Young is actually looking decent, and we see like growth with him, which is the first time anyone's felt that way for a long time. Eagles and Ravens, 24-19, showing us that their division is better than most in the NFL. And the 49ers and the Bills, 10-35. It was an awkward snow game, and it looked like a bunch of kids on a playground trying to get some PE during the winter time. So that's what we have for that. And make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for getting us over 1,000. We still haven't recovered from that excitement.
Really excited about it. And of course, follow Julie at It's Miller Crime on the X or Twitter, and Ryan Besaw, Bees Knees.
97.
Bees Knees 97.
Yep.
And I'm Ajax Allen on the tweet machine.
Before we leave, one last thing before we leave.
Okay.
Josh Allen is the first quarterback in history to throw a touchdown, catch a touchdown,
Yes.
and rush for a touchdown in a single game.
Yeah.
Awesomeness.
That's why he's MVP.
Bye, folks.
Bye.